My coaching practice really focuses on assisting seasoned professional women with that transition from their working life to a retirement lifestyle of their own design. Why? What made me even think about that? And we'll talk about, at some point, I know how I even got into this work. But, given my own journey to this part of my life, and a lot of the fears and trepidations that I had about it, and knowing that my retirement and women's retirement in general is very, very different than a man's. You mentioned about our first career. A woman on average will be out of the workforce 12 years of time of working life because of caring for children or for caring for parents. I don't have to tell you that time out of the workforce means less in savings, less in our employers' plans, less in Social Security for all those reasons. We make less money. It's hard to believe that in 2019, we still make 80% of what a man does for the exact same work. And then finally, we have this whole, we live longer, on average 4 to 7 years. So we have to work longer in order to fund our retirement. In fact, there's an 80 to 90% chance that we will be solely responsible for our retirement, either because of divorce or widowhood. So that's kind of I'll call it the financial logistics part of that. There's the social emotional part of it as well. And that is, as a woman, we tend to put ourselves last or second, and we care for everybody else. We spend usually 40 plus hours for working with our employer. We then come home and spend another 40 plus hours working as spouses, partners, daughters, moms, grandmothers, the list goes on and on. Soccer moms, community members, friends. We tend not to carve out that time to put ourselves first. So really, because our retirement is so different, because we tend not to plan for this time or think about ourselves in this time, that's why I decided it was so important for me personally to really focus on women so that they wouldn't have to go through that same journey that I went through to get to this point. So I felt very strongly about that. And again, knowing what I did about women and how we operate, that's really what got me to focus my work on women only.
Yeah, and I can really see value for it in terms of both the difference, but also as a man, I look at it and say, if I can understand what my partner is going through, that's going to help me and us as well. Yes. So that's why, I think we all benefit from, again, just a deeper understanding. And obviously there's more work to understand women because they're far more complex. At least that's the stereotype.
I'm very proud of it. That's
right. So you alluded to it earlier of all the transitions. And again, we think about a woman's life and all the transitions that they go through. That has to be a real challenge to try to navigate through that successfully.
Yeah. And I think, again, like you mentioned earlier, is, if we start as early as, getting out of high school, getting out of college, getting that first career, getting married, having children, all those different things that kind of happen, those transitions, and they all follow a very similar path or stages, right? There's always an ending. So what was is no longer. So, we get out of college, and now all of a sudden we got to earn a living. We got to actually put what's up here and earn a living from it. And so there's that ending. And then there's that I'll call it the gray zone, that neutral zone, that in between. Think about a trapeze artist, right? You start here, you end up here, but then there's that kind of going through the air. There's that uncertainty. Am I going to make it? Is someone going to be there to catch me if I don't?
And maybe a gust of wind or two comes along the way, and maybe a little earthquake or two.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, and for a lot of people, that gray zone, that neutral zone, is very, very uncomfortable, even sometimes more so than endings. And then finally, we get to that new beginning. So if you look over the course of all the changes and transitions that we go through as women, and we can take those 3 steps that I just mentioned, and we can plot in each one of those and to fit into one of those segments.